Hey guys, Cool Breeze here. Hey, I just want to do a quick review on the It's a Snap Flat Cat Gear windscreen. Just to give you a little background on this, I purchased this windscreen from Flat Cat Gear probably about 2 weeks ago, and my quest was I was trying to find a windscreen for my 1.3 liter Evernew pot, and so that I could use it with one of my alcohol stoves. I went on the website, I looked all over. I originally was looking at ordering one of the Salute 46 windscreens, and I did. But while I was looking, I saw this windscreen and I thought it was pretty cool, and so I wanted to check it out. So I immediately got on the Flat Cat Gear website and I placed an order for just the windscreen. I wanted at the time to purchase the stove also, but to be honest with you, made several purchases and I didn't have enough money. So I ended up just getting the windscreen, and the first thing that happened was John himself, the owner of Flat Cat Gear, he sent me an email saying, he wanted to make sure that, because I just purchased a windscreen, that what I was intending to do would work. And the first question he asked was if what pot I was using, and I assured him I was using the 1.3 liter Evernew titanium, the ultralight, and he said it was perfect. That's what the windscreen is designed for. And but then he asked me the second question, which was, would my stove work with the with this windscreen? Because this windscreen does, it is its own pot stand, and he said that it provided 1.8 inches of clearance between the I believe between the ground and the pot, and he just wanted to make sure that the stove I was using would fit that. Now obviously this windscreen is maximized for the Bobcat system that John sells, but I decided to go ahead and test it out, so I went ahead and ordered it, and I got it in. I was extremely excited. I probably had this for about a week. I've been testing it with all these different alcohol stoves that I have, just having fun with it. And I'm really amazed that this pretty much has increased boil times on just about every stove that I've tried. The cool thing is it really didn't matter. This is just one example. This is the Fancy Feast, homemade do-it-yourself stove that I made. It really doesn't matter whether it's an open top. I didn't really try any of the pressurized stoves. I just didn't. I don't know if there would be an issue with that, with overheating, because this system does hold more heat underneath the pot. So I just didn't try it. But all of the stoves that I did try, including the Mini Bull Designs Elite stove and some of the Pepsi can stoves and stuff that I have, all increased burn time. The amazing thing was when I started doing the measurements, these stoves, like this one is designed to be its own pot stand, so it really doesn't need this to be a pot stand. But even so, even though the pot wasn't sitting directly on this, it increased the boil time, and in some cases by a minute. It was pretty incredible. So I really do like this pot stand, or I'm sorry, the windscreen / pot stand. It's got some cool features. This one is made out of aluminum. It's a little heavy. It's 1.8 ounces just for the windscreen itself, but because of the increased boil times in the long run, it would cause me to save alcohol. So I think it's worth it. I'll definitely be taking it with my 1.3 liter. It's a pretty cool product. Without further ado, I'll kind of show you a couple of the features. The way it comes with when I ordered just the windscreen, it came with the heat reflector for the bottom. It came with the skewer, and it came with the 1 ounce measuring cup for the alcohol, and it came with the windscreen itself. This is It's a Snap, and I believe this is version 1.4 for this. It is aluminum. I did talk to John about the weight, because this thing it is 1.8 ounces, and he assured me that depending on the interest, he said probably later this year he would make this in titanium and offer it in titanium on a limited basis. So I'm excited. I'm probably going to buy one in titanium. So, but pretty much the way this works, it has two snaps right here. you unsnap both of them, it unravels. The pot stand, even though it is maximized for the 1.3 liter Evernew, it can be used with other side pots. To actually fit it to the Evernew, you snap both of these snaps onto the outer snaps, and it works like this. Now, of course, if you need it to be larger, you could always unsnap it and just snap it on one snap, the outer snap, and now you've got a larger windscreen. To make it smaller, you could unsnap it and move it to the inner snap, and now you have a smaller windscreen that will work. But for this instance, I do have the 1.3 liter Evernew, so I'm going to make it for this. Now, once you fit this, with just a minor amount of straightening the pot stand, now you've got the full circle. It could sit on the heat reflector. Now, me personally, I just use a single piece of aluminum foil for a heat reflector. But like I said, this one comes with it. The skewer, the way this works is this has a snap on the top in the center. That what that's for is it helps support the pot. It rests on the lip right here and helps support the pot so the pot doesn't fall through. Before that, I believe he offered 2 skewers, one for each side. There's little holes. I'm positive you can't see this in the video, but this skewer just kind of fits through the small hole, and then it goes into a small hole on the other side. The windscreen has dual holes, one on each side. Again, I believe that's from where it came with 2 skewers, or you could use either side depending on which one you need. But to be perfectly honest with you, I found I don't even need the skewer. The windscreen fits my pot so well that even with unless you're putting some serious weight in there, you don't need the skewer. I put 4 cups of water in before. This is empty right now, but I put 4 cups of water in and set it on the windscreen, and it sat fine. But just to show you, like, you can place the pot into the windscreen and it sits just like that. So the lip is sealed around the edge, and on most windscreens you want to have a 1/2 inch around on all sides to let it vent air into. But the way this windscreen overcomes it is it has holes all the way around that allows it to get oxygen and to push oxygen out. It has holes on the bottom, large holes on the bottom on one side, so if you needed to, if it was a high wind, you could face the flat side into the wind and give it a little bit of shelter from that. And it also has a viewing port in the back right here. It's a hole, so if you need to look in and see your stove to make sure it's still going, still lit, whatever you need to do, you could look in there and see. You don't have to lift the whole thing up. You can just look in the little port and see through the back. Overall, like I said, I think it's pretty innovative. It definitely helps hold the heat, but allows enough oxygen into the bottom of the stove to allow the stove to keep running. And like I said, I'm impressed. It's pretty much increased the boil times on just about every stove I've tried on it. I'll try to attach a video if I can on the back of me actually doing a boil in the field, because I've tested this both at home and out in actual field environments. And so far, like I said, I'm super impressed with this thing. It's definitely going in my 1.3 liter UL on most of my trips, and plan on using it. Excellent job, John, and appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, comment. I'll try to get back with it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks. Hey guys, kind of what I wanted to show you today is I got this windscreen in from Bobcat gear. I'm super excited about this thing. Just kind of wanted to show you guys what it looks like, how I use it, and I'm super excited about this. This thing's really cool. Been playing with it for a few days now. I've been testing it in different environments. I started out testing it at home, and then I started coming out and using it, and this thing, I can tell you right now, definitely increases my boil times, pretty much hands down across the board. I've used several stoves with it, and I just think it's really cool, and I like it, and this is definitely going in my kit. This is the stove I'm going to use right here, the Fancy Feast alcohol stove. It's just a homemade alcohol stove. Like I said, I don't want to repeat myself, but I've tried it with multiple different stoves, and on one of them being the Elite, Mini Bull Designs Elite stove, and some of the others that I've tried, all of them have increased the boil time, so really happy with this. And if you just give me a few minutes to set up, I'm going to put 2 cups of water into the cup, and I'll set the temperature of the thermometer up, and I'll be right back. Okay, I apologize, I did this kind of late. I got carried away hiking out here, and yeah, I did this a little late. I just want you to see, like I said, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but this windscreen has definitely reduced my boil times on just about all my stoves across the board. Ideally, again, you would want to try to use one of their stoves. John's saying that this was a specific setup. This wasn't really designed to use with other stoves. It was designed to use with the Bobcat system, and he said that it was specifically designed for a few people. But I found that this is highly versatile. It definitely boils with other stoves. Without further ado, I like this. Give it a chance to heat up a little bit. Water's going to start at 65 degrees. That's just the outside temperature, and I've been hiking. That's what the temperature of the water is. And just going to set this over. Just want to point out that in this test, I am not using the little skewer to support the pot. There's 2 cups of water in there right now. I think it would support much more. I know it would. I put more in it, and it supported it without any skewer. Depending on what you put in there, if you're putting food that was heavier, obviously the support may be necessary. And this setup that I have, is designed for me to cook in, but I just wanted to give you an example of what this would be like. We're already up to 103 degrees. I'll put some of the more of the specifics in the comments about the stove height that this is. Because the way this windscreen works, it's actually the pot stand. So there's a specific height above the ground that this one sets off. So ideally, again, you'd want to use one of John's stoves. But like I said, right now this is going in my setup for right now, just like it is for this 1.3 liter Evernew. I think one of the things that makes it so efficient is that there's less gap around the end of the stove, so it's holding more of that heat underneath, just creating a more efficient environment for the stove and the pot. It's still allowing it to get enough air. Obviously, right now I can tell you that I'm pretty deep in the woods here. I've got lots of tree cover all around, and there's hardly any wind, so it's ideal conditions for the stove also. We're already at 179 degrees and steadily climbing. Just some of the other things that I take. This is my pot cozy. It's homemade. I made it myself. It's made out of Reflectix. If you go on my Facebook page, Cool Breeze of Backpacking Adventures, you'll see that there's a couple of videos that I've linked on there from the Hike Glider page and also from Shug Emery, his page. It's boiling right now. it's fixing to beep. There it goes. And I'm showing about 225. I'll look at the video again to make sure, because I started a little bit late, but I want to say it's around 225 was the boiling time. This stove in itself usually takes about 3.5 minutes to boil. So as you can see, I mean, there's a lot of variables that go into boiling water, and you know, there's a variable in there that, you know, different environmentals affect boiling. But like I said, in every test that I've done so far, this stove windscreen combination has boiled the water faster, and that's amazing, because it's making the stove vastly more efficient. Even though the stove is designed as the pot stand and to sit directly on it, this is obviously making the environment underneath the stove way more efficient. And obviously it's allowing enough air and everything to get into the even with no wind, it's allowing enough air to get in to continue to boil. The flame's still going. Overall, John, I think this is a great concept. Like I said, adds a little more weight, but as far as fuel efficiency, that boiled with a ½ ounce of fuel in less than, or just a little over 2 minutes, 2 minutes 25 seconds. So this means that I could carry less fuel, so I think that would make up for the extra weight easily, depending on how long your trip was. But overall, it's up to you. I'll let you make your own decisions, but so far I'm sold on this this type of windscreen, and I plan on putting it in my 1.3 liter Evernew and carrying it with me. So if anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to ask. I'll be glad to answer. But overall, pretty cool windscreen.